If you're watching this, you probably feel compelled to create, but a lack of process around it, the realities of having to support a family, the atrocity of not being born into a wealthy family, those things get in the way. After fooling around with time and letting a lot of stuff get in the way, I let my midlife crisis take over. And my midlife crisis was not buying a Corvette with a license plate that said divorced on it, which I saw recently. I guess it was sort of starting a YouTube channel. I realized that if I want to make something that I enjoy making, I got to do it myself. So on this journey, and really I'm only counting the past 5 years, it's been riddled with a lot of aha moments, like things I knew, but I didn't really know, If you are a creative person who wants a little bit of camaraderie on this messy path, here's a list of things that became really clear to me in the past year or two. The first point is that I need a process. I've written in the past that coming up with ideas in the shower or while you're driving is a bad sign. That's the only space that your brain is calm enough to let ideas come to light. A big part of this is setting aside time for me to think. A huge part of that has been going on walks and just setting aside even whole days. I have most of my Wednesdays blocked off. I wrote this YouTube video on a Wednesday. It's been a lot of fits and starts. I'm not Hemingway waking up and writing for 3 hours in longhand, but I've been taking myself a lot more seriously. And if imposter syndrome is a part of you not really wanting to take control of your life, just sitting down to write and formulating ideas, taking the time when no one's watching, no one's supervising, to refine your ideas and what you have to say, it's been incredibly empowering. You need a process. And by you need a process, I kind of mean you just need a window in your week or your day where all your focus is going into is creating. If you've read or wanted to read books like The Artist's Way or Writing Down the Bones, all of these books just point to one thing. The ones who are successful just sit down and do the work. If you think of every scam that we've ever fallen for, it's always about something that promises we don't have to do the work. There is no external issue or problem that is holding me up from actually creating what I want to. It's all in my hands. I can blame clients and busyness and family and schedules all I want. I annoy myself with my own excuses. Time for your personal work, your creative work, is legitimate. You are not an imposter. Your unique perspective is the only thing you should focus on. I understand that I will never arrive. There's this stupid billboard in a small town just south of where I live. It's a Lincoln billboard. It shows a picture of a stupid SUV and it says, "You'll know you've arrived." It's ridiculous because it's selling an absolute lie. I should know. I actually used to work on Lincoln ads. In marketing, hope springs eternal that there's going to be this end point, arriving at something and somewhere. An arrival means that there's an end and there isn't any more growth, synonymous with plateauing, which is not a positive thing. This is how I look at a creative journey. I look at it as a continuum, a line, maybe an uphill line. Things are not always easy. And on this continuum, you are somewhere along this line. I am somewhere along this line, hopefully moving up. Maybe you're moving faster than me. Maybe you're moving slower than me. Maybe you're standing still looking at your phones. When it comes to arrival, thinking about my journey as a continuum really changed how I think about goals. Because goals are tricky. When I was in high school, I thought that if I made a commercial, a TV commercial that aired on TV, I would have made it. I would have arrived. I couldn't think of anything better than that. And here I am. I've left my commercial agent, started a YouTube channel. Life is really weird. A goal can help you find momentum. It can give you a direction to aim towards and to start moving. I had my goal as making commercials. When I got there, I realized that it was a desk job. So I set my sights on commercial photography. I set that as the next goal, and then commercial filmmaking. In this sense, goals are fine, but goals can also be interpreted as a finish line, as if something will fundamentally change by you crossing over this arbitrary line. You're going to be disappointed. I think we're constantly putting fulfillment on the other side of things. I will be fulfilled when. Instead of hoping for fulfillment, I want to be on a fulfilling path. And instead of goals, I want checkpoints along the way. Not finish lines where I struggle to come to terms with what I actually feel versus what I thought I was going to feel at that point, but instead checkpoints that are almost like a pinball bumper that just bounce you to the next checkpoint. I know this is just me rebranding goals, but I just want to take a little bit of the pressure off. As I get older and as the time ticks away, I want to have a bit more grace with myself. I want to enjoy this path, and that's something I'm slowly realizing how to do. Because, man, it's about the journey. You are not going to miss anything. For over a year, I've kept my phone out of my bedroom. I do not sleep with my phone in my bedroom, and it has been wonderful. I figure if anyone needs to call me in the middle of the night, they can just as easily call 911 or 919. What is it in the UK? I don't know.
011899.
One of the things I recently bought is a burner phone that has a like $120 a year plan on it. Technology-wise, I've also invested in a couple e-ink readers. I bought them kind of compulsively. I love the idea of e-ink. In my mind, it's not a screen, it's like paper. I made a whole video about how e-ink works. Anytime someone sends me an article or I gotta read something, even if it's a PDF, I can just send it to Instapaper. I have no connection with Instapaper. It's just a service I use that on Saturday morning when I've made my coffee, I can open up Instapaper and read the newsletters, the news, catch up, not looking at another screen. And I just keep them as completely social network free devices. Too slow to watch video on, but they're fast enough that I can type on them. So some days when I'm just sick of using my laptop, because they're Android devices, I can load up Google Docs and I can work on a YouTube video script. What are you doing? Getting off screens as much as I can has been fantastic. And even back in 1850, Henry David Thoreau, as he's sort of trying to disappear into the woods, none of this stuff is new. He talks about how being a mile out of town cleared his head of all the gossip that was swirling around daily. The next thing I discovered, and it made sense late, it's one of those things I knew, but I didn't really know. It's that if I want to do something creative, I have to do it for myself. I was a creative kid. I goofed around a lot, I made a lot of stuff, and it was productive. It gave me a lot of jobs. People were excited to work with me because I could help them solve their business problem creatively. But as a young man rising up through these systems, I thought that, and I was a huge idiot, that someone was going to give me permission to create art, work that made me feel the most fulfilled. It took me way too long and way too much of that clock ticking away to realize that the only person who's ever going to give you permission to create art is yourself. Kind of linked to that is the idea of like, stop trying to be somebody else. Doing work for yourself will keep you from looking around the room, always keeping tabs on what other people are doing or what people are creating on social media. Doing work for yourself will give you the most viable path to creating work that you're happy with, that has your personal truth or perspective attached to it, and is therefore repeatable in any sort of way. Repeatable in a sense that you won't start resenting yourself very quickly. I grew up in a rural area, small town, on a farm. It's not like the best environment for a creative kid. It's a lot of pickup trucks. I spent a lot of time trying to fit in, to not be who I was. But my successes in life have very directly come from who I am, embracing that, embracing my weirdness, embracing my point of view. When I'm doing creative work that comes from my own mind, the path is clear. I know exactly what choices I want to make. When I'm doing work that I've externalized the approval for, when I'm trying to measure up to someone else's moving target of what legit work looks like, I feel completely and utterly lost. Stop waiting to win the lottery. Making stuff, and only making stuff, is what got me noticed. Every opportunity I've had in my career has come after I've made something. Creating stuff is proof. It's the cost of admission. When you're done making one thing, make another one. I need to take that one more to heart. If you want to start a dang YouTube channel, make a video and then make another one. It took me almost 50 videos to have one that kind of took off, even if that is a goal that should be important to me. Through this channel, I've had a lot of people reaching out to me asking how to start. I don't know what kind of advice I can give to these people. Just pick up a camera, pick up a pen. I was raised on a farm. No one laid out my career for me. I had to figure all this crap out. Stop waiting for someone to lay out the whole path for you. Just pick up the thing and do the thing. There's a saying of you gotta make your own luck. And the only way you make your own luck is by doing the work first. And then when the luck comes around, you have something to show. Be wary of too much theory. I just wrote a newsletter about that. If you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, you should, because it's a platform-free way to hear about what I'm up to. It's really easy to fall down a studying rabbit hole. I overthink my camera purchases. I watch a lot of YouTube thinking I just need to learn a little bit more. Then I'll be ready. But if it's not linked to practice, if you're not concurrently doing, it's just going to go in one ear and out the other. I've spent way too much time studying, doing admin, dialing in my Notion workspace, a lot of make work, a lot of productive procrastination. At a certain point, I'm just delaying the doing, and the doing is the only place you're actually going to learn. It's kind of like trying to learn how to ride a bike by watching YouTube videos. You just have to feel it. No one is going to lay out the path and iron it free of bumps for you, because if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. The real magic is in your studying and how it intertwines and is expressed through your doing. You just got to get on the bike. The next thing is that done is better than perfect. And I've heard this said a lot, but it's really true. I've made almost 80 videos now on YouTube, and they're a lot simpler than the ones I was making 2 years ago. I would really stress over all of the details. And I think that that is part of me being an older generation creative. I come from a commercial background where everything has to be perfect. If there's no polish, you're just left with a turd. Marketing is just polishing and polishing and polishing. It has to be perfect. Coming from that paradigm to online video where everything is very rough around the edges, it was really difficult. Just getting videos up has been way more important than polishing. If I work on a short film or something, I'm going to put a lot more detail into it. But even the last short film I made was trying to paint out wires and reconstruct this church I was in. I realized that there are diminishing returns, and I could have spent 2 more days in After Effects just perfecting the shot. But I honestly don't know if one viewer would have noticed the difference. I love to watch Hank Green's videos, and his videos are always the same. In his little office, big mess around him. The lighting is pretty simple, but I'm not there for the lighting. I'm there to hear what Hank Green's point of view is. I found some simple ways to make my lighting more consistent. I made a good lighting video a few videos ago. I've stopped worrying about the quality because as I create more videos, just through experience, each video will be slightly better than the last. Your point of view, what you have to say is way more important than the polish. Quality is something that you can raise along the way. If you're scared to reveal what you believe, or you're scared to have an opinion, you'll be constantly stuck in a shallow world of aesthetic and trends and looking around the room to see if you're cool or spot people who look cooler. What you should be focused on from the beginning is always your point of view, your voice, and what you have to say. All of these points, this whole video is just trying to understand that I am and you are legit. You are on a continuum of growth. You will never arrive. And in fact, if you try to be legit by some external criteria, you are, in fact, by definition, not legit. Be legit. Be too legit to quit. I hope this was helpful to you. If you haven't, subscribe to my newsletter. And also, if you would like to support me, I do have a Patreon that I promise nothing. There are no perks. It's just, hey, I've gotten something out of all this crap you've made, Jesse. Or if you need something in return, I have a zine that I still have a few copies laying around. There is a link in the description. You'll be able to find it. Thanks for watching.